Well, we've got some interesting news, DC fans and Marvel fans too. I don't usually make Marvel focused videos because I'm more of a DC fan, but this news concerns both comic books producing juggernauts. The Russo Brothers, famed directors of Avengers Endgame and other, Marvel movies. And they've done some movies outside of the MCU, but most of their biggest movies have been under the Marvel tentpole, are producing a documentary about the rivalry, decades-long rivalry between the Marvel and DC, publishers. The fans love Marvel and DC like they love two different competing sports teams, right? Like two different football teams or basketball teams. That rivalry has carried through mostly in comics and still carries through to today, but now it's spilled over into movies and TV and video games and animation, right? Those IPs, the Marvel and DC IPs, are very potent. But let's read a bit about this documentary here on Newsarama. Joseph and Anthony Russo are producing a documentary series based on Reed Tucker's nonfiction book Slugfest, inside the epic 50-year battle between Marvel and DC, for the streaming service Quibi. Now, you would think, since this is about Marvel and DC, it would be either on, if it's going to be on a streaming service, on Disney Plus or on HBO Max, maybe later next year when HBO Max launches in 2020. Because, HBO is owned by Warner, which owns DC too. But I think the problem there is, since the documentary covers both, one streaming service will be upset with it promoting a series that has the other, IP on it, right? Like if they put it on Disney Plus might not want to air a documentary that includes DC characters in it, thus promoting DC, and vice versa with HBO Max. But here's more about Slugfest. Slugfest, the first book to chronicle the history of this epic rivalry into a single, in-depth narrative, is the story of the greatest corporate rivalry ever told. Complete with interviews with the major names in the industry, Slugfest reveals the arsenal of schemes the two companies have employed in their attempts to outmaneuver the competition, whether it be stealing ideas, poaching employees, planting spies, or launching the price wars. The feud has never completely disappeared, and it simmers on a low boil to this day, with DC and Marvel characters becoming global icons worth billions. If anything, the stakes are higher now than ever before. Now, Marvel and DC do take shots at each other in the movies, right? I think a while ago when, what was it? Batman v Superman was coming out. It was somebody's idea to debut that movie originally in the first weekend of May, right? And everybody knows the first weekend of May is movie real estate that Marvel usually claims. And then, they eventually moved when Marvel announced they were going to put Captain America Civil War there. But then, when Warner Brothers was going to release Justice League later, Marvel announced that same weekend that they were going to air Punisher, the entire complete series that same weekend, like November 15th or something, 2017, or November 17th. And that was back when Netflix and Marvel got along. Punisher was a Netflix Marvel streaming series. But I am concerned, whether or not this will be fair, because the Russo brothers have said some things about DC characters in interviews that make it seem like they could be a bit slanted. They said a while ago that they felt that DC characters were unrelated. A sentiment that's completely untrue, by the way. DC is the universe that has Barbara Gordon, Oracle, right? Barbara Gordon was a role model for physically disabled people for years when she was Oracle, because she was a superhero who, found a way to be a superhero even though she was bound in a wheelchair, right? But according to the Russo brothers, Barbara Gordon, a DC character, is not relatable to people in the real world, which is ridiculous because I just gave an example of how she was. And there are many other DC characters who are role models and have been for people in the real world for a while. But, the Russo brothers don't seem to think that, or at least they didn't when they said that quote originally. And they're flat out wrong. So that's a red flag right there to me as a DC fan. And, they're Team Marvel. They've never done a DC movie. So the concern is their documentary going to be that fair towards DC, or is it going to be mostly a Marvel promotional tool because they're Marvel guys, right? That's where their loyalty is and what they've worked on for most of their careers. Or at least their careers for the last, 5 years or so. Now, they're very talented guys. I'm sure this documentary will be very good. But, you know, will it be slanted or will it be fair and unbiased? I guess we shall see. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.